Going live. Cue music. And hello, everyone. I'm Dan Lutz, and welcome to the FrontLines. In the battle against the deep state, the cabal, the Illumindonkeys, and all those that wish to enslave all of humanity for their own selfish reasons. Well, apologize for yesterday. We tried our best to put on an episode that would be talking about the power of the resonance frequency of the planet and how we can see that there's a lot of energy, and it's actually been coming in a certain like for an hour, and then where it's very high energy, and the amount of this energy is keep building and building on certain days. So like the 17th, which is still the 17th in some parts of the world. It's the 18th for me. But we went through this this period where there was just a lot of energy. We're trying to show this. Tui was on for 2 hours. We couldn't go on live. Lazaro was there, and so Lazaro and Tui talked while I messed around with my computers. My first computer, it went down. That's this computer. And it was all related to heat. It is very hot right now, and I guess my computer is getting old, and the heat is affecting it. And I did figure out what the actual issue is. And I do also know how to fix it, so I've actually ordered some replacement parts, and I know what to do to go ahead and fix this. Way back when in my one of my prior lives of in business, I had a company that actually had a lot of computer repair people that were there fixing systems for the desktop video and animation industry. That was the niche that I was in. But anyway, so that being said, it did not happen. It was only good thing came out of it was Lazaro and Tui had a good amount of time to talk, and as soon as I was able to get on, Tui's battery died. And of course, then the computer was having a lot of problems streaming on YouTube, which it never had problems before. So just in general, a lot of turmoil, a lot of energy soup going on. And this is to be expected in the Great Awakening. And what we're going to do today is we're going to review the Great Awakening as put together as a compilation into a poster. And we'll go over that with the company that started these type of posters. And there's a couple, but before we get into that, there's a couple of things that I definitely want to show. So we'll get to that. So let me go ahead and flip my screen around here so you can see what we're going to be talking about. Now, I actually went ahead and created a um, my own video for this so that it would be I could post it on Parlor, and so I'm giving a shot to that. Actually, this is the Parlor, but it's processing here. This blue line at the bottom, and so I don't know if it's going to how it's going to show up here. But until then, we're going to watch it on Twitter. But this, I called this gentleman here, who is a Damani Felder. I called him the Black Life That Matters. This is amazing, his little 2-minute rant here. So let's watch it.
To the feckless, hypocritical, virtue-signaling Democrat leaders of America, you took the time to kneel for George Floyd so you could pretend to care about black people, but I know the truth you continue to ignore. So now allow me to call you on the carpet for your many failures in the black community that you refuse to acknowledge. How about kneeling to acknowledge that the worst riots and the worst instances of police brutality in this country are in your cities alone? You are the common denominator. How about kneeling to apologize for having some of the lowest minority, literacy, and graduation rates, but some of the highest single motherhood, abortion, and black-on-black crime rates in your own districts that you yourselves represent? How about kneeling for the millions upon millions of black children who never got a chance to live because your friends over at Planned Parenthood butchered them before they even had a chance to be born? How about kneeling for the untold numbers of my ancestors who were lynched by your former counterparts in the KKK for simply daring to ask to be treated as equals? They didn't get justice, and even today, by kneeling and apologizing for your white privilege, you still don't treat us as equals. You feel like you have to apologize for your privilege because deep down, you still think that you're better than us by default. If you'd actually held your friend Amy Klobuchar accountable for not prosecuting Derek Chauvin when she had the chance to after he had 10 complaints filed against him in his 19 years with the Minneapolis police force, maybe George Floyd would still be alive. The fact of the matter is, if you had to take a knee for every black life lost needlessly due to your failed leadership, you would be on your knees forever. The only black lives that matter to you are the ones that fit your agenda. You know it, I know it, and the world knows it too. Your party is the one that filibustered for months to prevent the passage of the Civil Rights Act in 1964. Your party is the one that only had 23% support of the 13th Amendment, which abolished slavery, and had 0% support for the 14th Amendment, which granted free slave citizenship, and also 0% support for the 15th Amendment, which gave us the right to vote. The policies you have implemented have been the figurative knees on the necks of my people for centuries. And it is because of you and your failed leadership that many of us still can't breathe today. But I've got news for every last one of you. If you think all you have to do is shamelessly pander and kneel to get the support of people like me, if you think you can wear the kente cloths of the Ashanti, an African tribe known for selling their own people into slavery, if you think you can tear down statues and rename buildings and roads to hide your sordid history from everyone, if you think that's all it takes to win over my people, if you think our skin color will keep us from thinking critically, you've got another thing coming. I'm Damani Felder, and that was absolutely nothing but common sense.
Thank you, Damani Felder. Hashtag this Black Life Matters. Yeah, that guy just put it over the top. I really appreciate what he did there. Let's go on to a couple more things just to show. This was another good one to watch.
And peaceful. And please, show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful. And please.
The First Amendment, you gotta look it up, Mr. Como.
So Chris Como there on CNN is saying, show me where it says that protests need to be peaceful. Well, it's in the Constitution.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful. And please.
Right there.
The First Amendment, you gotta look it up, Mr. Como.
Enough said, and the guy's munching on top ramen, uncooked, and adding ketchup. So, Dan Bongino also pointed that out. So I thought it is definitely interesting. It popped up in the where we go when we go all.love Telegram group as well. So I said, let's go through this. It's worth it. Think about Dan Bongino. He basically has talked about that he has now a financial interest in Parlor. We mentioned that also yesterday and the day before. I would like to point out that I'm just knocking on the door of 300 followers over here in there. It's only been I guess a little over a week, I guess, and we're gaining every day a handful of people. So please join over here. I'm going to try and keep all the video posts coming up over here. I'm adding things that are interesting. So this one I found was a Macaulay Culkin interview that was taken down, and this goes through it, talking about what happened to him as a child actor. All right, and so I want to make sure people get to see that. And if I click on that, I put in also a little. Oh, it can play here too. Well, we'll go ahead. We'll skip through through here, and just to show you what's in here, it's Macaulay Culkin in a French, I believe, newspaper or an article that was within 10 minutes of it going up was taken down. All right, he's blowing the whistle on Hollywood. And all of the worst things that we've already talked about what's going on there, he is talking about here. So anyway, I posted that here. You can find it. That's the Cuomo, First Amendment, peacefully assemble. Okay, just this is a meme about a liberal privilege, privilege. So believing that you have the right to control other people's lives, believing you have the right to have the right to never hear others' opinions, believing that when you're offended, others have to care. And then believing that there are two sets of rules, one for you and one for everyone else. So that's the liberal privilege. I think that's well said. All right, so wonderful things here. So again, how to use Parlor. There's some people that will appear here on the right-hand side. I just suggest you start following them. Of course, if you want to find someone in particular, go ahead and follow them. Now, if you follow them, when they make a post, like the post I was just showing you that I post, they will get notification of that. But, there may be some here you might not want to follow, just so be aware, and you might just read the names as you go through. And this is just to get you started. Once you start getting a flow here of people coming and taking a look at what you have, then you'll know. So here you also have your notification bell up here. Just come and take a look at what has been coming to you, so you can see like who's posting to you, and you can read and see what's there and make comments. I suggest you do the interactions. We're not going to do that here, so it just takes time. So I want to just kind of give you the idea what to do. And if you see a new follower that's followed you, follow them back. Pretty simple. Thank you. So Mitt Murphy 811, and so just keep going. And then once you've gone through the whole section, and you've followed everyone that's following you, and or there's some that just made comments. They found they didn't follow you yet, but you may want to find out that you may want to follow them. Here's a new follower. Truth Seeker is now following, and Pre-dawn. All right, and then again, back up to the top when you've gone through all of that, and then clear. And that's the basics. Pretty easy to get around, see what's going on, and again, more to follow. So you can keep this going, but my following is looking at I've got about 495 I'm following, almost 500 I'm following, almost 300 have followed me. So it's a good way to build up your the start of this. And with Dan Bongino taking an ownership issue in this, I can say that we're going to see Donald Trump switching from Twitter to Parlor, Now, I'm not saying that it's going to happen at any time, but what if Twitter takes Donald Trump offline? Can't you see that he would just move over here? I mean, really. I mean, that would make the most amount of sense. Okay, so let's get a couple more things here. So again, this is the June 17th resonance frequency. So this colorful image at the top, you know, your frequency range is basically starting up at the top at 0, right, and it's showing as you go down to 40, right, and then these are hours of the day going from left to right, and then the days. So this is part of the 16th. We covered this yesterday, and then on the 17th, here we go. It's hour after hour. A lot of intensity is there. And if you look at these charts down here, this shows you the amplitude, and this shows you the frequency for these different colors that are represented in here. So you've got the red, the white, you know, the yellow, and the green. And so, you know, so this is a very intense time, and that's what we were told this. You know, Kim had talked about this. A lot of the other people in Speak Project were talking about this. So there's a lot of energy. So that's why we were covering it yesterday. I wish we had Tui and Lazaro on to speak at one time. We'll probably try and do that and just go ahead and record it, and then without doing a live broadcast, and we'll upload it so we don't have the broadcasting issues. Just let me check and make sure everything's. Yeah, see today, no problem. You know, it's broadcasting just fine. Excellent conditions, it says. So, all right. Well, we got 43 watching right now. Hello, everybody. All right. So let's move on here. Yeah, I wanted to cover this one. This is just a little compilation. We're not going to watch the whole thing, but just to see what's happened in the past with Trump and running and what they were saying.
I am officially running for President of the United States.
Could he actually win?
No freaking way!
Which Republican candidate has the best chance of winning the general election?
Donald Trump.
There's not going to be a President Donald Trump.
Trump will not be president.
Trump will never be elected president of the United States.
We're not going to be president.
A
all
man
right?
who will never be president of the United States.
Donald Trump is not going to be president of the United States. Take it to the bank.
He will never be president.
Donald Trump is not going to become president of the United States. She's at plus 19. Do you think the tapes made a difference? Of course! They made all the difference!
This race is over.
Hillary Clinton has raised more than double Donald Trump, vastly outspending him.
The presidency at about 89% for Hillary Clinton.
Your analytical model has never been wrong. Now projects Hillary Clinton to win presidential election.
100% chance. Do you still think she has a 100% chance of winning the election? I do.
And what would Donald Trump have to do to turn things around?
Prayer and hope for a Festivus miracle.
This is CNN's coverage of election night in America. The fight for the presidency.
Okay, half Kentucky. Who cares?
Kentucky,
Don't care about
Indiana. Don't care. Indiana, with West Virginia, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Mississippi, South Carolina, Alabama, Kansas, Nebraska, and Wyoming with its vote, North Dakota and South Dakota, Texas.
Up and down the middle of the country, all red.
Arkansas, Louisiana, the state of Montana, Missouri.
Yeah, it was at 80% an hour ago for Clinton. What is it now? 68%. Okay, God damn it, I'm nervous.
Ohio.
Ohio, John.
Idaho.
Okay, yeah, I don't see a fucking landslide here. I don't see it at all.
North Carolina.
God damn it, if we need Florida, are you shitting me?
Florida.
It is fucking panic time.
Georgia.
Donald Trump now the favorite to win the presidency.
Iowa.
New York Times now has it at 95% chance.
Utah.
Can still win, but in order to do so, she has to win Wisconsin. God damn it. Fuck
Arizona.
Alaska.
Pennsylvania.
Michigan.
What a night. How did it?
Well, You think they're awake now in the Great Awakening? All right, I think that covers it. So again, on my Parlor, again, my link is down below. I did post this poster, and so we're going to go over this poster now. Now, the original place where this comes from is, let me click on this to take a look at it, because it's in the comment section below. I add it in Parlor. You know, I can add one link, right, to show what's there. So down below, here's this. This is the place where you can find it, which is the Great Awakening Map.co. So you can basically buy the map here. Now there's some different images, different coloring. So this has like a big, great flash in the center of it. It's all the same information, right? But just presented a little bit differently. So here's like the different posters of it. Now I find it a little hard, to grasp all the information that's there, right? So if you want to, if you would like to do what I did or see what I did, I posted this with these colors. All I did was take it into a paint program, all right, and I just colored in the circles to kind of give it an easier way to break down and follow the flow, because otherwise it's very confusing. But we're going to go through that right now. First, let me go ahead and I'll flip this over. All right. And oh, Tui is on. Hello, Tui. I see you there. You snuck in.
Hello, Dan.
Well,
sorry about that.
Oh no, it's all right. Yeah, it just was one of those days. It was 3 hours of trying to broadcast, and when we finally got on, it just wasn't, YouTube was not accepting the information. Let's put it that way.
I see.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I got a good conversation with Lazaro.
Yes, you did.
That was good.
Well, that was a good thing. So
not a coincidence.
No, obviously there was something that was good to cover then. That you guys, I wish I could have participated more in that conversation, but that's okay. So what's going on? What's the Fiji update?
Oh, well, first of all, I would just like to say hi to everyone and thank everyone on the live show, everyone that's listening in now and also in the near future. Just before I want to do an update, I want to say thank you to you, especially Dan.
Thank
and all
you.
the work that you've been doing with the shows every day. This dedication and commitment that you've occupied yourself in, dedicating your time to help the people of the planet. Thank you, everyone that always join you and listen every day at the same time we go live. Thank you to Tank as well, and Kim and the team. Thank everyone that wherever you are on the planet and whatever role that you're playing, the level of energy and what work that you've done is is what's taking place now, and it's all coming out, and it's all part of this great awakening that we would be discussing or we'd be talking about. But yes, there's a lot of things that are happening. especially to do with the spiritual change of the planet.
Well, let me ask you, Tui. Let me ask you. So when we were last speaking, I know that you had talked about going to meet with all the chiefs around Fiji, and basically about I guess making your voices heard by the government, or which way would you phrase it?
Oh, for the past few months that I've been doing almost exactly the same thing that you're doing, but only in a different platform, and that's reaching out physically to the people with about more than 100 group of people that we dedicate our time to do the same thing and to do the awakening process or the remembering process, I call it in our language, remembering the unity within. And we've been doing that, moving around Fiji, just letting the native tribes know that the time is of balance is here. So the awareness is very important, awareness of it, because it's going to affect the frequency of the planet as a whole. It's going to help everyone to wake up from this deep dream of separation. And so, yeah, and at the same time, things are happening, the coronavirus pandemic and all these psyops operation that's been, taking part on the planet. And it's all coming in synchronicity, in synchronizing with what we're doing here. And it's amazing how, what we always talk about in the past and how it's actually happening right now, and how the mindset and the change, or the spiritual change that's happening on the spiritual level on the planet, which, which all the people of the planet are part of. We're just pretending to be creating illusions and focusing on the illusion. But now that our illusions are, breaking down in a sense, people are waking up to who they truly are, and the energy that they represent, the energy of love that they represent to create all this sort of illusion, the realization, and then the knowingness and the ability to see that they'll be able to change the reality together. So that's the message we move around when we move around the different parts of our island. That's the message that we take across, and you'll understand then that here in the Pacific, there in the Philippines, and so many parts of the planet, the religious programming is quite strong. And
yes.
Very powerful in the level of the belief and the faith of the people. So we're able to articulate ourselves in a manner that it doesn't hurt them. It doesn't, we use the Bible because all the different mechanisms that we awaken the spirit in its true sense is in the Bible. But then it's just the value of what you read, or the grammar, or the weight of what you read, and the meaning that you give the words that you read is what actually articulates your thought form, and it affects you in a way that it binds you to be lost in the illusion, or to wake you up. And so we are able to read them, read the Bible, especially in our Fijian language. It's really it's based on facts and not on fiction and imaginary God that they would think that is somewhere outside of themselves. So we're able to put words and put words in their mind, and they're able to by themselves, they're able to actually see the truth that is within them and evaluate it the way that it's a factual knowledge, and not based on illusion or pretending. Because as you are well known, and everyone that's listening on the show, that we've been so lost in the illusion, and all we think about is illusion, That's how we have a reality, and that's how we construct our language. It's all based on future and on the past, and we are never living on the reality of the now. And so we are able to get everyone that we are in contact with, to get themselves into knowing what is truly real, or what is fact, and that is the now, and what they articulate in the now, and everything to do with the future, all the fears that the future brings, and all the creation of beliefs of the past. It gets them stuck in the past, and they are unable to create something new in this moment now. And so all this, it includes the banking system, includes our government, includes includes all the education structures, the way we teach people. We all base everything on fiction and illusion. So we have to get ourselves out from these sorts of thinking, because that's where our reality is built from within us. So we have to return everyone to the mana. That is what our language is. The mana is the unity within the now, and and how the future and the past is our gift, and the creation of illusion is our gift. It's not supposed to be our prison. So we're able to empower them, and they're able to wake themselves up from that dream. And I'm very thankful for the people that I went with, dedicated people, just like everyone around the planet. If you're listening in, wherever you are, whatever work you're doing, I'm thankful, because ultimately we all work together as one unison, and that's how this energy that's been affected by that we're talking about, this resonant frequency, this vibration. It's not coming from outside of us, coming from within us, and it's coming from and the effect is just a physical expression that we can calculate or we can measure. But that's basically what is coming from outside of us is simultaneously coming from within us. And if you properly understand who you are, you will see that your reality is who you are. So that's basically what we've been doing then. Just want to elaborate on that a little bit. Yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you, Tui. I know there's a lot of stuff that's happening where people are waking up, and what people have to wake up to is that they have to take action, right? They're the ones that can't wait around for a savior. You can't wait for someone, the aliens to come down and save you. You can't wait for the other guys to come out and save you. You can't wait for the media people that you're watching on TV to tell you, oh, it's all okay now, because they're lying to you. Right? So that's what everyone's waking up to, right? Is that that we have power, right? And we have the power because we use it. We have to use it. We have to really focus on what we want, and then just take some small steps there. And we every day taking small steps, and we end up there. And that's all it takes.
I guess that's basically what it all comes down to. It's just talking about the people lying to you. But if you understand how the thinking works and how you're deceived, it's not anyone deceiving you. You are letting everyone around you deceive you because you allow yourself to be deceived, and that's the power that everyone has. They think that they're being deceived, and they blame people outside of themselves for being the one that's lying or being the one. But ultimately, it comes down to yourself, and the spiritual energy within you, and whatever lesson you want to learn from your experience. If you understand that, and if you understand who you are, then no one, you'll never allow yourself to be deceived by what you see, deceived by what you hear. You'll always be in control, and you'll always value reality as it is. If that happens, no self and no operational control can influence anyone on the planet. They would be sovereign, to choose by themselves and
Right.
to understand by themselves, and choose not to be affected by things outside of them, but allow themselves to learn from it as a lesson. And all these things that's happening with the pandemic, and if people can, have a chance to do that, to be able to truly look within themselves, there's nothing outside of them can affect them. They can focus on their immune system. They can, the late problem, the riots that are going on right now, it's just caused by the lack of awareness of the self and everyone's values that even if that they can make that out in a movie or they can create it, that's been happening in the past, and that's how the mess will control in the past. There are certain people that just be able to bring some ideas, express it, and show it to everyone else, because people lack the full control of the self. They are easily manipulated, and the truth, basically, the truth is we still have a lot of lessons to learn as a collective. And so that's why things are coming out the way it's coming out right now, and it's all part of the collective awakening of everyone on the planet. So basically it comes down to you.
Yes. Well, and we're making a lot of headway. We've had so much happening. I think this is episode 465. I think so. Just in a row, I think there's 2 days missing out of all that. And yesterday, even though we had all problems, we we still put something up. But and these are the small steps, to manifest the reality, right? It's not just about Tank and I deciding, and you, Tui. I mean, you joined us on, I think it was the third day or something like that. You jumped on, and because you jumped on, that added so much more.
We have any English.
Yeah. Well, one day you'll learn to speak English, so it'll be okay. So it's just a joke. You're wonderful. We catch everything that you're saying. But it's just sometimes a little bit hard to hear. I hope that the audio is much better now. I have played around with filters and things to try and boost this up as much as possible. So hopefully it's doing better. So what is the next steps for Fiji?
For Fiji, just like we've always been talking about, I want Fiji to be a template, not just me, but we want the chiefs that are here in Fiji want Fiji to be an example, to be able to, be the first example of this new system. And what I mean is, I want it to be physically be an expression of the new creation that we want to create. So we can do it by ourselves, or just me, or just the thousands of people that I work with, or thousands of people that we're waiting to create this together. But we have to do it with everyone, and that's also including Kim, the YouTube, if you want to create something outside of the current banking system.
Yeah.
So the systems, we're talking about that. We want to do that, but it basically starts from from the spirit within us individually. And so for the past 1 year, I was able to train people to just to encourage them, because that's what I tell the people. No one is going to say you have to self-realize yourself.
Yes.
And reorganize the way you think and create intention. And because it's easier for us in our tribe to actually do that, I find it really hard to explain this to people that are not the same, doesn't speak the same language, or they don't live here in Fiji. It's hard for them to realize that whatever culture they've created is an illusion. And so for us, it's easier because, first of all, we are foreign to the Western, Western construct, and it's so easy for me to separate the people from that construct that was introduced to us from England. So we can actually speak a little bit just in pidgin and then understand what I'm talking about. And so what we want to do is we do that. We do all the paperwork. I'm trying to get to understand how to construct constitution with a proper grammar, and that's the reason why I was reaching out and talking, sharing some videos with you, because they've done this to the native tribes in Australia, and that's how they were able to retain their land, because they were able to tell the government that the illusion, is based on, based on a construct that is based on fiction, and
Right.
give us the power to create something new, and create something separate from it.
I want to comment on that because I was thinking about this quite a lot. I'm hearing an echo from you. Let me mute you for a second. In this thought about it being fiction in which things are based upon, and I wanted to just give an example. It's like, let's say that someone wrote a book about a fantasy country, and in this fantasy country, they outlined all of the rules, and everything was reversed from what you knew. Everything was actually completely opposite, right? And that book, somehow was not known as fiction and made it into the hands of your local government, right? And they said, "Oh, this must be the rules," right? And everyone starts following these rules, which were meant to be all backwards, right? And then after a while, people are experiencing the effect of doing everything in reverse, what is not good for you, right? And you keep saying, "Well, why is it not working? We keep using this book." Well, it's because it's based in fiction, right? So anyway, I'll unmute you again, Tui.
Yeah, so you explained it really well, and so that's what we've been doing for the past 2 months, teaching everyone about the illusionary construct, and that's to do with the Rothschild and the system, and everything that we've been so programmed, that's filtered and all this binding of contracts that all based on on their own construct, which doesn't come from our own. And for us to be able to create a new one, like I said, the first thing is first, and that is the spiritual awareness of what you represent and who you are. And this will enable you to first realize that you can create something different from what's already been existing, and give you the power as well by truly integrating this awareness within your life, within what you say, within what you do, becomes your life. And so then people, they'll be able to, understand the law of the sea properly, and then traverse the law of the sea, and even, create vessels and understand how to move them, how to trade, how to do all things properly, individually, expressing their sovereignty and expressing their sovereignty in their creation and in their involvement in this illusion. The problem is other people don't understand how to move around and how to traverse the commercial environment or the law or the commercial system that exists on the planet. And so I'm teaching people here in PG to understand that if you need to travel on water, you need to create a boat so you can travel on water. And that's the basic principle. You have to understand that you're floating and all these constructs come into place. And in order for you to transverse properly movement, you need to understand the rules and how to go about it. So in order to be able to, because it's all based on illusion to construct in what you say and what you write. And this is our reality. So in order to be able to change the reality, you need to understand how to construct it first and how it was constructed. So basically, just putting that into very simple language, but it's much more than the few words. So right now, that's basically what I'm teaching. the people here and making them understand that, because we understand we are bounded by the law of the land, and we belong to the land, and we are one with the land. The problem is we've been so immersed by the system of the sea, and we wanna find a balance and to be on the law of the land and master of the sea, and that's what I want Fiji to be. And no financial problems, nothing to do. All these things all these problems of finance will be of the past once we understand how to traverse and use the illusory construct to our benefit. So yeah, basically that's putting into verse two words.
Well,
that's basically what I want to do.
Well, let me talk a little bit, because when our conversations about how I could help in Fiji, we've discussed building a new economic system, something outside of the central banking system, because that's the parasitic system. So we have to make a system that is beneficial to all of the people. And some of the things that I've said, recently, a couple of days ago, talking with Lazaro about that, I described a system where, if the government is the one that's printing money as they are today, they're collecting it back in the form of tax, right? And that tax is getting to be more than 70% of everything. Now you add up all the small taxes and everything, but it's up. You're getting up to 70%, and soon it'll be over 100%. And then you owe money. And then you're in this more even over the top indentions, or you can never get out of it, right? So it's in no way is it ever going to be able to be anything other than parasitic and killing the host. So if we have a system that doesn't collect tax because it doesn't need to, there's many things that the government can do to set up a system that doesn't require you to collect tax from the people, because it's there for the benefit of the people. Now people will say, well, then the government, they'll have no money. Well, I mean, they have no money now. They just print what they need, and they print for things that are not necessary. You can make all your cases for every program, and that's fine, but there's a lot of waste, and it's because it's how it's set up. So government should be small so that they don't over abuse it, but the system for money, the banking system or the money system, should be universally available to everyone in the world, but every country have their own ability to print their own money and control how much money is put out based upon what the people need. And what the people need is very easy to determine by their productivity. And this is if we use the tools we have at hand, the computers, the phones of today, there's things that we could do that we couldn't do 100 years ago. It would be impossible to do it even 30 years ago. But as of today, we can monitor, the people that are working on something. That's productivity. Even if they're not getting paid by somebody to do a certain thing, they are still being productive. If they are being paid, they're still being productive. All of that productivity is their energy expending that they've done, and they should have the reward for it. So counting that is what we're able to do with the accounting systems that are, kind of not requiring a lot of effort by the people that are in the system to do anything. Right? The phone can keep track of it for you. There's supermarkets now you can walk into, pick up and all the groceries and things that you want, put them in a bag and walk out the door, and it charges your bank account. So there was no effort of accounting done, right? So something like that is very possible for something to be the regulator of how much money the governments are able to produce. So there's all sorts of things we can do to make that occur. And then the government, if the government is only giving out money, never collecting money, everyone will love the government.
Yeah, the first thing, the first misconception that's part of the old system is that they're separating people from the government.
Yes.
First and foremost is that there is no separation. The illusion of the difference between people and the government is what causing all the problems. We're taxing people. Why? Because the government is outside of them, and then it's giving them, it's administrating on all the assets, and it needs administration fee for as taxes. But if there's a system that people can administer, and there's no separation between the government and the people, it's in the constitution. The problem is people are not really following the constitution itself. We've been taught, differently. We are never taught that in school or in law and all this. We are always taught that we are separated and we are under law. Every single thing that the government is the people. It's not just the government is not not a building. It's not a book. It's not it's existing in a fictional construct that is being protected by the education system that teaches people that they are separated. So what we want to do here in Fiji is we want to join these two together. It's similar to the body and the mind and the spiritual energy. The people are the spiritual part of the government. The government itself is the creation of the people. And so there's always a separation, and then all this will never stop. All these constitution are just guidelines that people have to follow to be able to administer the public trust. But individually, if people are able to understand this and become sovereign, there would be much better relationship than relationship between the people and the government, because the government will know that they are the servant of the beneficiaries, which are the people, and so they will be able to conduct. There will be no problem. There will be no poverty, no such problem of separation like what's happening right now in the U.S., where a corporation government is different from the people, and the people become the enemy of the corporation, and they're treated as someone outside or someone employees only, and they're not valued as what they truly is. So in Fiji, it's much easier for us to get out of that separation and unite as these two. And we see that, and people here are waking up so fast or quickly, and it's growing. And so they're waking up in awareness. Educated people are waking up. I have been in meetings with very intelligent people who have never been exposed to this information or to this reality. And a lot of them, it took a little bit of time for them to unlearn what they've learned, and then relearn it. And I tell them, don't unlearn anything. Just add this to your knowledge, and you will get wisdom from all the knowledge that you've gathered in the past. So that's basically what we want to do here in Fiji. We want to, like I said, master all of this. We don't want it to be. We don't want to be a victim to someone else who's in charge or another system. We want to create our own and treaties with those people that create treaties with those people that are existing. And so, if we are able to do that, not able. If the time comes, that's the point that we want to do. We don't want to go against them. We want to understand and then create a new one, just like what we created, and then to create treaty and not not get stuck in these victim blame situation that, oh, we're blaming them for enslaving us. No, it's just that they were a little far ahead in their awareness, and they've been waiting for us to wake up and take up what is truly ours and traverse in the same illusory construct. And so, if we can do that, then we're already in the future, and we should be able to understand, to transit the awareness of the people closer. I mean, teach them everything about everything that's going on, and no more victim mindset. Just create something new and create a better life for everyone. Where there's no financial what's called it, all the financial problems that occurs from our negligence. And so basically that's basically what has happened in the U.S. Just because of money, all this riot has happened because of a check, just because of a $20 check or $50 check.
Yeah.
It's not the people. It's the money that has caused everything, and they're burning millions and millions of dollars and a lot of lessons and lives of people that have been lost just from the small notes.
Yeah, a lot of
let's just teach us that our responsibility towards our illusion is one that has to be taken very, very seriously, because that's that shows if you mature spiritually or if you still in the dark ages. Even though we think we are far ahead technologically, but we still have the same set of illusions trying to wake up from the same set of dreams. So yeah, that's basically what my take on what we want to do here in Fiji.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to help. I'm ready to come. as soon as you tell me, okay, let's do it. I'll head over there.
Economically, right now, Fiji is is gone. There's no money. Thousands of people are unemployed. People are going back to the land. They're planting. They're going back to the sea. They're fishing their own food. The thousands. Last few weeks ago, I checked. There's about 89,000 people that launched the application for our for the funding or for the Provident Fund, which is something like our social security. They're trying to get money out of their social security to try and help them through this pandemic and through this. And we had some, a cyclone that a lot of damages, and there's no money in government. Wages are going down. It's, like I said, right now there's much more. Economically, we are right low, right down there in the lowest level of things. We are waiting, people that have been hit, we are waiting for that opportunity when they realize that they can't print any more currency, they can balance the economy. If there's going to be a riot, that's a lesson that we'll have to learn as a collective, people here in Fiji. And if whatever lesson we'll be learning from it, we want to use that opportunity to implement. I talk a little bit about this, drying up of the river Euphrates, and that's talking about, in the Bible, in Revelation, where they, their information, they put whatever they're going to do in the Bible. And we're just waiting for that moment where it's going to dry up and people will jump out or will wake up from the reality, beginning from the leaders and down. And wake up from the dreaming of money and all this, and we'll be able to construct it a new reality. So there's messages going up to them. We are just waiting for that time. Right now, Fiji 89,000. That's a lot, because we have only about 800 and almost 900,000 people here in Fiji, less than a million. So 89,000 people unemployed. That's almost 80 to 90% of the people in Fiji are losing their jobs. As soon as the public works or the people that are working in government will lose their contract and lose their job, and then they might their file for bankruptcy for the entire government. So this is a lesson. We're not gonna, we wanna try and.
So is the existing government going to remain?
It will depend on the money. If the next election will be in 2022, 2018, 19, 20, 22 or 21. 20. So that's a long time. That's a long way.
Yeah.
So I don't think they'll be able to, financially keep their breath. All this, our businesses all are running. All our businesses here almost 500 to 569 businesses all over the country. If this goes on in the next few months, they will all run out of business. They will all close down. Our airport and all the people that work in the airport and in our tourism industry, that's 40 to 60,000 people. That's the whole entire economy and a lot of investment that the government has put into all these different sectors of the economy is there's no fruit from it. And so right now, they're blaming it's an act of God. But and so we've been talking about it and in our shows, in the past 2 years, last year, and I've already told them that our economy will come to a standstill. Everyone will lose their job and go back to the land. Because it's time to return to the land and for the planet to come at rest. We've been so at war for a very long time, and so it's just that a lot of people are not so used to being free because they think they have to work and they have to be a slave for all their life to be successful or to be something in reality. But really, we can create a new reality where you don't have to, you just have to be yourself and express your creative energy and learn to love your fellow men and learn to balance your life with the planet, learn to balance your life within yourself spiritually, learn to balance your life with the land, with all the living things, and and live freely, not needing to earn a living. So yeah, basically that's a little bit of update in PG economically. Right now, yeah, economically and also politically as well. So thank you very much, Dan.
Oh, thank you. Well, it was wonderful. I now I don't know if we should go into the map here, because we've had
Go
all right, well, we'll go over a brief. I don't know if we could go spend an hour on this at this point because we're already going for quite a while now. And I don't want to keep everyone, on so long, or we could break it up into several. But this, as I was saying, this map right here of the Great Awakening. I broke it. I kind of divided it I used its own divisions of circles, right? And I just highlighted the circles. And to point out what they say, right, around the Great Awakening, right? We've got artificial intelligence, the sun, Saturn, the Dark Fleet, the Secret Space Program, the Galactic Federation, Mars, Venus, the Ancient Builder Race, the Rainbow Body, and the Moon. And then down here, which there's like a big half circle which represents the Earth, right? And then inside the Earth, we have Antarctica. We have Q and the Qanon, the inner Earth civilizations, the Vatican, and the Tibetan Rainbow Body Ascension. So, that's the basic structures, right? And then we can focus in on any part of this to say what is the Great Awakening, right? Because all of these are coming into play. And some of them are very dark, and some of them are very positive, right? Things that we have to look at. So we've heard everything about the Great Solar Flash. So what is the Great Solar Flash, Stewie? If you're still on, He may have walked away. Okay, I'll continue. So, the great solar flash.
Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I was just saying, what is the great solar flash? How do you understand the great solar flash? As I'm just getting some perspective before we dive into any of all of this, about what the Great Awakening is.
Basically, it's solar simply means in a native language. If you talk about solar, we're talking about Rarama, which is the sun, or which is the spiritual energy that is within us, or that is the sun that we are looking at outside of us. So the solar flash will be attained within the spirit, within ourselves, and it's it affects the frequency of the sun, frequency of the planet, frequency of all the different timelines, or what we call different planets, and also what is taking place here and what we create in this reality that we are experiencing right now. So basically is one and the same.
So would you say the great solar flash is a positive thing or a negative thing?
It's totally both. Because,
both. Okay. I kind of knew you were going to say that.
Speaking from the different perspective of people, there are people that will see it as a negative thing, and there are people that will see it as a positive thing. So both exist. Or however it's going to affect you, it depends on the expression that you've chosen to experience. Whether you've been a bad person, then you might change to become good.
Yeah.
Whether a positive lesson that you're learning need a negative experience, then you become wiser after it. So positive and negative is basically subjective to what the people or the person or the awareness or the spiritual energy that is within. And so very good. Soul flesh.
So in the context of this map, it's basically laying this out as the upcoming series of great solar flash events will act as a trigger for full disclosure and the Great Awakening, and that full disclosure is really about everything that is being shown here. Which if we look up here, we look Ascension to the fifth dimensional, Earth, age of the golden race. We've got the ancient builder race. We have artificial intelligence. Now, a lot of people say artificial intelligence is bad, right? And it's a negative, right? But there's a positive side, to artificial intelligence as well, right? There's things it can calculate, and it can give us the answers and predictions in a certain way. There's Operation Looking Glass is on here too. I think it's down here on this side. So there's so much here. It's like very all over the place. That's why it's, wherever we dive in here, we end up with something. Anyway, we can find these things about, like I said, what is losing track here. Sorry, too much on the screen. So that there is great potential in everything that's happening right now. That if we're able to be able to use artificial intelligence to predict what and avoid bad things, that's good, right? If it's being used to harness to shape us into a worldwide dictatorship, that's bad, right? Now, of course, the people that want the dictatorship, they think it's good to be in a worldwide dictatorship. Right, but this is the difference between the parasitic nature of a body, of a relationship, or one that's or for the benefit of all. They're equally balanced, and I think really what we're looking for is to get into a balance that we're bringing everyone towards a positive outcome, all right? And those that you break it in between life and death. Death is a natural occurrence to something, but it's better that it happens a long time from now. So we want to push that away as much as possible and focus on bringing life and abundance. And recognizing that we'll eventually get to where the death part happens to us, and we then, get reabsorbed into the system. So where we're at now is we're really waking up to that there's all this out here. This is a lot of stuff, right? And we can focus in and dedicate our positive efforts to any one of these directions, right? To make something happen. So we've got a whole world to basically move forward and move out of the shadows from, and not be held back by economics. See, the economic system now is using us as a battery, is sucking out the energy from us. So we have barely enough to survive and not any to thrive. So this is the system that is going to go away, and we have to make a new path forward. Actually, this image I have in the back of me here, I've used to represent the new path forward. A path, a positive direction, multicolored, uplifting, and it's against a background, a background that's dark in color, right? So we're moving out of the darkness. So we have to make our steps towards these things that make us be able to get there. So, and again, looking at the way this is analyzed, we've got everything in like outer space in the upper part here, everything related to outside of the Earth. And then down here where we have all these things that are going on inside the Earth. And so we want to focus in on, let's just say, QAnon for the moment, because that's kind of where a lot of this is starting with QAnon for the Great Awakening, because QAnon is what organized what is called the digital soldiers. So let's see what's in here. So the Storm is at the top here. QAnon, highly ranked military intelligence. Anonymous meme wars, psychological thought bombs, drain the swamp. So I don't know what this is. Geotus. Hear all, see all. White hats, QMAP, Palladian guidance, 8chan, 4chan, North Korea, peace, CIA ousted, Space Force, end the Fed, Tribunal, follow the White Rabbit, trust the plan, Q clock, end human trafficking, trip codes, ecopolitics, ET books, release free energy, arrest pedophiles, patriots, anons, where we go one we go all, Trump, and Q. So this is one part of the Great Awakening, and this is just a summary. You can add to this. I mean, the Space Force. It reminds me. Hey, what about Life Force? We now have the new Life Force. We have just some themes here, but all of this has where it's a military operation of the good guys against the bad guys. We've got people we thought were bad guys were just puppets. For example, North Korea. Even Iran is coming around. It looks like they are also changing their direction in things. They released a prisoner they had for a while. Why did they do that, right? Because it didn't look so good for the other side, the other plan, the depopulation plan, the harvesting plan didn't look so good. So this is what we're seeing is the realization that there was another plan, right? That's part of the Great Awakening, and the Q part of the plan is to draw attention, is to raise a digital army, to basically have an alternative media. And that's why we have now United News Channel, right? This is the new push, right? We're making steps, step by step, to manifest a new, highly needed, highly wanted news platform. Right. So that's the QAnon part of this. So we back it out a little bit, and we'll just slide on over. We have what else is part of this new awakening is the inner Earth civilizations. Now we have UFOs, Nordics, crystals, raptors, Sasquatch, giants, Draco Nazi reptilians, 4D, 5D density beings, Ka'ari, the construct. I don't know what that is, but telepaths, Anshar, 4D humans from our future, and sonoluminescence lightning. Sonoluminescence lightning. So this is a whole other aspect. So is there anything that any of this that people don't know very much about? I mean, like I said, there's a couple things there I really didn't know much about, but that's okay. You know, but have we heard of Nordics? Have we heard of giants? Have we heard of the Sasquatch? Now, these are real or aren't they real? I mean, I heard stories about Bigfoot, Sasquatch, the Yeti, all of these, you know, giants, hairy-bodied, ape-like individuals that stood upright and walked like more like people than they did, you know, monkeys. So, you know, always heard about. Yeah. Yes. Yes, Stewie.
No, it's good you're talking about civilization. It's really, really good. But they, you know, basically they're just our brothers. Just different, you know, different lessons, I may say, which is, but we, because they are part of the earth, they are us, just a different sets of us that choose something different. But
okay.
I think they already, you know, they would have already gone through what we're going through right now.
So,
and,
just to go on with with that theme, just a little thought that came into my mind. We look at AI and artificial intelligence, or we have augmented humanity into androids, cyborgs. So, if people choose to be drones in the collective, that's just another one of us, right?
Yes.
Right, but we don't.
Basically, when you talk about AI and natural intelligence, you know, that's what we are. The separation is you know, is an illusion. So if you understand how natural intelligence works and how the plants live, how the sun moves around our surface and the moon, these are all operating on the same energy. It's a fifth element within us. But if you want to create something inside that, you are welcome to do, but you know, you'll always try to for granted. But the natural intelligence is everywhere. We can, you know, as soon as we tune ourselves into that, tune our technology into that, we'll follow the natural intelligence, and we'll never hurt the technology that we achieve. Will never hurt us because it's part of us. So the earth people, the inner earth people, have already, you know, like I said, it's a lesson that we are learning as we move forward. You know, as soon as we realize that the technology is not different from us, whatever we create is us. That's, you know, this balance, you know, it's like what I said about the economy. We are creating things outside, and then we're pretending we're separating ourselves from it. And so you know, this unity, this oneness that we all have, whether it's, you know, it's a creation, whether it's metal, whether it is energy, whatever energy, whether it's electricity, and whatever platform we put the electricity on, and whatever our, you know, sets of programs that we put it on, ultimately it comes from within us. It is derived from our energy and our intellect and the what I call the fifth element that is within. So there will come a time this unity will come in, and there is not going to be any separation between you know, technology or what we call AI. It's not AI. It's just you know, it's just you. And what, you know, all the transportation.
Yeah.
You know, from space, from one place to another. We don't have to, we don't have to force ourselves through time and space because our body is already connected to it.
Well, let
we're forcing ourselves through space time.
So let me ask you. Let me ask this. So when you're saying what's I'm thinking about is this aspect that if AI, like I think the Archons, for example, are an ancient AI. Not able to manifest in this reality unless someone builds the infrastructure for them here, right? And but what they do is they reflect back, the people that are approaching them, and what they're doing is they're looking to get power, right? That they want to subdue other people. They want to be over top other people, feel superior. And what they do is they end up following these ceremonies and rituals and things that are supposed to bring them these powers, right? But if there was someone that was of a different nature approaching these entities, would they actually get a different answer? Would they actually get a...
If you understand, when you talk about Archon, these are self-energized beings. What's happening right now on the planet is people are basically Archon on the dimension, on the third dimension. They are creating illusion, and they are getting lost in that such an illusion. If they move forward into the spiritual realm, that's what the Archons are doing. And they need our energy outside of them to try and maintain this energy, or to maintain their life. And so they can't live from the fifth element because they create a separation by themselves. And so this doesn't make them bad, or doesn't make them, it's just a natural way of them expression, as a limitation they've chosen to experience. So ultimately, the people right now, living day to day, they're robots. They are not. They're working. They're not working on the natural intelligence. They're working on a creative program that has been created by the religious, by the economic, by all this reality that the Great White Throne has created for the past 16,000 years. And so ultimately, when people are born, they are born and they are programmed in such a manner, and they can pretend to be a free spiritual being, because the ultimately living experience is an AI controlled by the programs outside of them. But if you look within, nothing exists outside of the natural intelligence. You can pretend as much as you can, but there's a limitation. When you move up dimension, you realize that okay, the love that's making me an AI, or program that is causing the reality to be in existence, is actually, I'm part of this much bigger and greater power that is everything. And then eventually, if they can choose whatever path, but they have limitation in time that they're going to experience it. And that's the big lesson that we as a collective are learning on the planet. As we move forward individually, we have to learn that, that's why I always tell people here that you can't save someone else. You have to be the one, reprogram yourself and stop being an AI controlled by outside programs. You have to be the natural intelligence, which is your natural, it's your natural nature. And so, yeah, the Archons are similar to that. They want to continue whatever experiences that they are here, and they want to do the same thing. And because they think they can go outside of it, and they want to use energy from other people or from other sources, and they take advantage of reality from different timelines. And so, what we're doing right now on the planet, we're going to heal all this, because we're going to learn from what we're doing right now. It's a lesson. It's a deeper lesson that we, as a collective, are teaching the outside beings, or our brothers and sisters who has never experienced what we're doing right now. And so, it's it's a big movie that we're playing, and it's going to teach a lot of high-dimensional beings on the probabilities of the choices that we are doing right now at this moment in this reality, as we're talking I'm here in Fiji, everyone around the planet, and this moment now. And so as we choose together and we choose together to create it, the desired reality that we're going to create, it's going to affect our cons, it's going to heal them. Because they will look, oh, so if I choose this way, these guys, they've given them a path. And this has never happened before. So a lot of the reason why they exist is because, they didn't change this experience that we are having now in a different timeline. So if you look at it in a way, we are like their ancestors, or they will be your, their change and whatever reality that they will become depends on what we choose now as a collective here on this planet, because it's going to affect all these different timelines in the future. So yeah, I'm excited, to share it just a little bit and share a little bit of, in English language, because it's hard for me to speak and speak it in English. So thank you very much, Ben.
No, you're welcome. Well,
Well,
here's the next part is the Vatican, that sphere of influence. So inside there we have elongated skulls, humanoids. We have MITR hats. I don't know what that is. Vatican Library, ET technology, global child trafficking. So Vatican owns all world currency. And then Homo Caspianus, Homo Capanesis, Homo Capanesis. I don't know what exactly that is, but okay.
yeah, so basically there are some people that have already done some quantum work on the planet. Basically came the other people that have understood how to affect the quantum probability, and they've taken away the sovereignty from the Vatican, even though they're still running on the program laid down by the what I call the Great White Throne. But basically, they've already, if you look around us now, in this moment now, they've lost the sovereignty. They can't create all the power that they used to have. They can't have it anymore, because it's a spiritual change of the planet. And a spiritual change will affect the reality. So if you see them breaking down now, it's just an expression of that loss of sovereignty. The sovereignty has been reset. So all these people that will partake in these quantum, because it affects the spiritual expression of the planet. So we are just leaving out the last bits of our program, and how the program is still running on a auto, on people that choose to value them. So ultimately, they know they've lost. They can't solve the problems that they all these pedophiles are coming out, and all these expressions, they're exposed. Even the Pope themselves, they understand it. They are trying to give the sovereignty back to the people. That they're trying to, let them read the Bible and get, work on their own, what you call eternal life, or their own salvation. It's no longer, no longer the way it used to be, where you have to go to the, the pontiff is the maximum. Is the maximum person that provides and owns everything on the planet. It's an agreement that's come from, from the solar, from the sun, from all the beings in the higher dimension, or from the kitchen from us. And we're just experiencing that. And they're not intervening, because they want us to learn how to, how to find ourselves and look within ourselves and realize that we are not separated from God. We are.
Yes. Well, let's not be separate. Well, let me go through a couple more parts of this Vatican sphere of influence here. So we have, after the pedophilia, reptilians, obelisks and pine cones, PayPal Swiss guards, all right, and then the Lucifer telescope, organ harvesting. So this is that sphere of influence. So this doesn't sound like a. Go ahead.
Okay. Some of these things I know by intuition, because it was happening when I was growing up. I was what I said, I was being shown. You can see it's just it's not a physical show. So when you talk about those things, it's just simply it was the way the Vatican or the people there in the Vatican physically tried to maintain control using technologies that they got from other dimensional beings, from secret sites all over the planet. From the pieces, those technology used to be used on the planet before the agreement of this lesson. We used to have all these fifth element technology. We can travel anywhere. We don't need boats to go to traverse through the sea. We can even choose to go to a time where there's no sea, travel, and then go back to a time when there's sea, and we can choose those things. That means we can choose to travel from a different planet. It's hard for me to talk about those things because these are memories. But the control that the Vatican try to, the ideas, since the Vatican, they understand because it's all part of a bigger story that has to do with what I call in our language the Ra, confederacy, and that's they've been following. I usually hear Thomas Williams talk about the Ra in a very very but that's, all these illusions that has made us agree to all these experiences that they've created in all these dozens, especially these 16,500 years, was that agreement. We separated the whole body of Ra, and now we are collecting it back again. And Ra simply means our life force within us. Separate our language, separate the way we look, separate and experience, and try and gather all the experience that was lost long before. And so all these different negative experiences that we've been going through under the Vatican is an agreement. It's part of the 16,000-year agreement. So no one else was given the power to lead it, but Great White Road, because that is nature. So in order for us to accelerate to find or to recover the experiences, we had to shorten down our lives. And just 100 years, a person, a soul, can live, just 1,200 years, and that soul cycle. This all, I'm talking about the solar agreement. So simply, all this technology, they've been trying to physically maintain control, but they know themselves that one day the sovereignty will need to be returned to everyone. So when the time comes, they can't do anything. It's part of the planet, and as the planet changes, it works together. No matter how it's better to ride the waves than to try and go against it.
Yes. I was kind of describing that yesterday. You kind of ride the wave and let take the little ups and downs, but you just continue to ride it in a positive direction for what your intention is. So, well, let me. I backed up here a little bit. So just like the three that we just covered: Q, inner civilizations, and the Vatican, right? In the Earth section, we've got two more that are kind of covered. We have the Tibetan rainbow body Ascension. I don't know exactly what I kind of understand Tibetan rainbow body. I don't and Ascension. I don't know why they've put it in here in this context of the Great Awakening, but it's interesting to know. I mean, what do you know about the Tibetan rainbow body Ascension?
It's basically the perception of the physical body, the different rainbow colors, or the different energy. It applies to your senses. It applies to your voice, your expression, which is the way, the negative, the way you get angry. That's the rainbow body. As if you balance the body, you'll be able to, just like the picture behind you. You become one with all the different levels of whatever expression, whether it's the negative part of yourself or the positive part of yourself. You learn how to balance it.
How to balance it.
Nowadays, people People don't understand that this is one of the attributes of the self. They will have to learn to balance it. So whatever expression, whether it's to do with what you see, or the way you think, or the way you speak, the way you sing, if you learn how to sing, you'll understand how to actually activate different parts of your rainbow body that you will externalize the voice from, whether it's head voice or chest voice, or you will understand all these different level of expression when you speak. And so this also what values your colors. If you see colors and the different frequencies, you'll feel certain feelings for the different colors that you feel, and the different frequencies of noise or sound that you hear, music, and it give you, you know that there's a flat, there's a song that's not doesn't sound right. Frequencies.
Yes.
So it's part of our awareness, and so the rainbow body is simply a relationship between your body and the reality outside of yourself, and how this actually changes. And so when we're talking right now, people are changing. They are able to actually control, and not just control, but express outside of themselves the sovereignty that they, to being able to be themselves, or to be the self, or the true self. And so a lot of lessons, maybe just talking over it, but there's a topic on its own, because it will take away all the health problems, all the religious problems, all the learning problems. Because your body is very intelligent. You don't even know who you are. You think you are your name. So that's a lot of lesson for everyone to.
Yeah. So about maintaining a balance, right? So, and that's even this ribbon behind me, right? So there's a balance to it, right? It's going up and it's going down, but it's a repeated pattern which keeps it in balance. The colors are transitioning one to the next in the rainbow pattern, and they go around the whole circle of it, or the diameter of it, and all the colors are represented. They're all in balance. Also, when I was designing Gold Grain Coin and the logo for it, I wanted balance, so I used the symbol of yin yang on top of the flower of life. Right, so flower of life for abundance, and yin yang to be in balance.
Yes.
Right. So
balance is the golden rule. So whether for example, to do with how you express yourself. So if you the word that we can say is love. Everything we do is love. The colors, all this yourself, you represent love. You are love.
Yeah.
So if you love yourself too much, then it becomes a negative imbalances, and you become selfish. But if you love, others or something outside of yourself, then you become victim to what you've given your energy to. But balance is very important. Jesus said, "Love your neighbor as you love yourself." As that means the expression of love outside and the expression towards yourself as an awareness, as part of the fifth element, and is that balance. So very, very simple rule, but it's what it's a big lesson for our collectively.
Yeah. Well, let's go move on to the more things to be in balance. So Antarctica is part of this whole Great Awakening. So in Antarctica, we have the pre-Adamites. I mean, the pre-Adamic race, before Adam and Eve, before Adam, pre-Adamic races. So the elongated skull giants crash landed 55,000 years ago. Original of the Cabal Illuminati New World Order. So that's.
It's funny. It's funny they always try to put it externally. Basically those are just us. It's just us. We just forgot that. It's a different now.
Well, the Cabal of today, the Illuminati, the New World Order, they're claiming that, right? That's their claim, right? So that they want to own that. Right? Not that there was anything other to it, right? So they want to claim their power of now based upon what happened back then.
Oh, you mean because that's them, because that's why they own the planet.
Yes,
Or that's
yeah,
why
and
they
they
have to
have,
be.
yeah, they're the masters, the rulers. They've always been there, well, at least for 55,000
No,
years. Yeah, that kind of thing.
that's what those arguments happens when people are physically unchecked on the measurement and the illusion of the body. If you understand the self within us, there's no argument about who is who, time, or whatever, who owns what. No, it's all based on they want to create illusions outside of the self and then argue. They still want to try and create a separation. That means spiritually they're still very immature. If you understand that those are all just us, but just different. The same DNA that is there is inside the body right now, but just different agreements. And everyone on the planet, we come from, we say that we come from where, no, but it's definitely just a part of our history as a collective, but we just forgot. And we can put words into it and separate them from us physically, but it's just us. We're just looking, just looking at our past and thinking that just because they look different, they're part of our DNA. That's why we can see them. That's why we can go down there and look at it, because it's part of the body here. So there's no separation.
Yes. Well, so I got a little distracted. Sorry there for a moment, but this is also known as New Schwabiland. I believe that was what the Nazis had called it. Right? And we've got some buried, crash-landed pre-atomic spaceships, advanced technology, R&D, back engineering, ancient builder race pyramids. So now the ancient builder race is not the pre-atomic. Right, these are different. So the ancient builder race is from millions of years ago. Right.
The problem is the people don't understand who they are. They don't understand how reality exists. They are not millions of years ago. They are just now in a different frequency of us. They think that we have to travel through time and all this. No, there's no separation from all those builder race. If we hear ourselves now, all the lessons those people will want to learn, because they know that this is going to happen now, because we are connected. That's why we are talking about all these prophecies and all these, understand? There's already a connection. People just don't realize it yet. But one day in the future, they will understand that the planet through time is a being. We are part of them. We're not gonna. Just by them discovering, or we own this. That's how we look at things here in our time in this reality. But physically, in a spiritual level, we can travel to them, and they are you, and you're just expressing their awareness in a different moment now. It is a very deep lesson for everyone to learn. And so all these millions or trillions or even timelessness, it's just a frequency of awareness. And so whether we create it collectively or individually, so they all know that there's a time. They've always been waiting for this time to happen. That's why they put the sun up there. That's why they put the moon up there. We had to agree to learn all these lessons. And so they, even from them, millions of years ago, they know that one day in the future, our DNA, our great thousands or millions of great children, they will come through and learn the lesson that we came here to actually try and learn. And so it's a great awakening for everyone. People will start to value this knowledge or value this awareness, whatever they know, however, according to how they understand reality. But when the awareness of the self becomes much more advanced, they will see that there's no separation between what they're looking at or that is being hidden to what they experience of the DNA that is looking down towards what they're looking. It's just a realization of the unity through time that we exist in the now forever.
Yes. Well, they're simultaneously here at the same time as we're here. Okay, so we're, but we have another way of looking at things from the standpoint of time, and then we count calendar years.
It's called remembrance.
And on the birth cycles passing through the bloodline, the memories are moved along as well.
Hello.
What's that? Hello?
Sorry, Ben. Go on. Sorry.
Okay. I didn't know what your comment was. That was a why. All right. So anyway, let's just go ahead and continue. We'll cover this last part. We've been on for 2 hours, so I'd like to keep it to an hour. And so when we get to 2 hours, it's okay, but let's not make it 3. And we'll come back and continue tomorrow. So okay. So. And continue. So we had the ancient ET ruins, right? We also had buried crash land, pre-atomic spaceships, right? Advanced technology, R&D, back engineering, Lockheed Martin covert excavations, visitations, by famous people. So Buzz Aldrin, the Pope, John Kerry, high-ranking elite. All right, then the ice shelf melting is exposing ET craft and ET civilizations. Well, ET meaning, how many of the races may have lived on the surface at one point, and now maybe they're underground. Who knows? So a lot going on here on Earth. So I'm gonna back out of this just a little bit to get so we can see the whole thing. So this is the Great Awakening. Just on Earth. Yeah, say again?
It's a great awakening indeed.
Yes, it is a great awakening. So it's good to know all this stuff is here now, right? And we can analyze it and we can find out. And it's about, if we remove the stigma that has been put on us by the clowns in America, CIA, the idea of a conspiracy theorist, and realize that we're analyzing these details of things that people have been found information. We know that there are pyramids in Antarctica. How'd they get there, right? They're much larger than the other ones in Giza plateau, and the pyramids around the planet exist everywhere. They're different structured, meaning their design is a bit different, but they're still monolithic stone structures based around the shape of a pyramid. Some just have different styles than the other. So why is that the case? So, we've got a lot to know about on Earth, and then we have what's outside of Earth. So, and there's a lot more outside of Earth than there is inside of Earth, and we'll continue that later.
Indeed.
Yeah. So thanks again, Tui, for jumping on. You're welcome to come back tomorrow. I think I'll be continuing this tomorrow because I do want to dive into some of the details between the spheres there and check how much there actually is to see what's the Great Awakening is all about. But then again, there may be some kind of breaking news. There is stuff that's happening, but it's still, it's an energy soup. It's everything's swirling around, and you got some potatoes in this bite, you got some carrots in this bite. You don't know what you're going to get. So.
Well, thank you very much indeed, Ben. It's always a pleasure to join you, and I'm glad that I finally have the time to just share teachings, discuss the teachings with everyone. I just want to say thank you so much. The rain is starting to rain, so it's blessed.
Yes.
And, thank you so much to everyone that's listening in the show, wherever you are in the world, whatever your role is, what you're doing. Much love, blessings, and peace. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tui. Much love and blessings from the Philippines. Good night, everybody.
Peace.